Zamir here, Zamir Syed. I'm from Strobus Infosoft. I've been the co-founder and director and chief architect of Strobus Infosoft. So what we can do is today we'll look at the digital transformation, because that's I won't say it's a buzzword, but it's the vogue of the technology that has been happening across the globe. It's just not in India but across the globe, and the impact is immense. And when I say immense, in both ways, tangible and intangible benefits that one would derive from this digital transformation. But only the thing is, you will have to transform in a very structured way, with a clear focus to what needs to be achieved and why it needs to be achieved and how it can be achieved. So we'll have to assess what needs to be done and how it needs to be done during your transformation journey. And the digital transformation, if you look at per se, it affects the business in every way, and it affects every walk of life, I would say. So when it affects every walk of life, the business has to associate with their consumers every walk of life, because if it's in a transformation journey, every next level of your business will demand a different you, right? It's just a kind of an evolution in the business. If you go back to a couple of decades, it was the industry started with just about PCs coming into the picture and having standalone applications, and then moved on to client server architecture, and then it moved on to ERP, and then it moved on to internet based technologies, and now the next level it has come to digital transformation, right? And the digital technologies that has been in the forefront for every business operations, right? When you talk about digital transformation, it is just that the survival of the business itself, it depends on the digital technologies nowadays. When you say the digital technologies, though it's a buzzword, it's the new terminology that has been running, that's been moving across the industries, across the businesses. If you see, entire computerized operations itself is digital. Some people have a kind of an argument that it says whatever you are computerizing, it is a digital. But the issue is, it's just not the technology is digital. It is the way the business goes about doing business is also makes the impact of digital onto their businesses, and as well as the way it operates, right? When you say it's when you talk about digital, it is the way you do business and how the people are interacting with each other, right? So when you do business, whenever there is a customer facing business, it's just not that how the businesses are interacting with the customers, but to interact with the customers, how the business need to change their operational aspects and their approach to various business functions within their own organization, and how people are reacting to those the business operations or the new way of doing business. This entire ecosystem or entire gamut of this setup is called digital operations, or rather digital transformation, right? The business needs to work on how to go about on this digital transformation, right? Because it gives a kind of opportunity for convergence of people, the business and operations, right? It provides a huge and tremendous opportunities for the businesses, right? If you talk about a kind of the opportunities that you want to envisage, you have to first identify what it needs to be done in the digital transformation journey, what needs to be done, and whatever you want to do, you have to assess why it has to be done, right? And once you assess why it has to be done and evaluate the impact of what you're going to do, Then you will go to the next phase, how it needs to be done, right? And once you decide on how it needs to be done, then you will have to identify where and all the impacts are going to be there for whatever the transformation that you would be carrying out, right? If you look at in a different way, what needs to be done and why it needs to be done should be in sync, and how it needs to be done and where it needs to be done or where the impact is going to be should be in sync. These are the two things that you need to concentrate or you need to focus on, right? I want to to go about all these four phases: what, why, how, and where. There are a few set of guiding principles that is there for the transformation journey and this, right? When you start with what it needs to be done, you have to have a very clear vision, a very clear objective. That objective should go along with the digital strategy, which means you need to first define your digital strategy, right? And the digital strategy has to be in line with your business strategy, because if the business has got a different set of goals or different set of objectives, and if a digital has different set of objectives and goals, and if it doesn't align with each other, obviously you will not end up anywhere. It will be like, if you don't know the way or if you don't know where to go, any way will lead you to there, right? So that is a kind of situation that you will end up. Most of the companies are still struggling to put across all these objectives in place, right? So in a sense, they are still struggling, or otherwise I would say because there are tremendous opportunities are available there in digitization, they're trying to do everything together at one shot. That is where the confusion starts, or the confusion builds up from there, and then you will end up nowhere, right? So you will have to have a very clear-cut strategy or very clear-cut objectives and goals, what needs to be done as part of your digital transformation or as part of your transformation journey for your next phase of the business, where you can explore or you can exploit the benefits of digitization for your business, right? It could be in any which way. It could be efficiency, it could be cost savings, it could be new opportunities, it could be revenue generations, whichever way you take it. There are tremendous opportunities available for this through digitization, but then you have to find out a starting point, right? When we talk about this guiding principles, we are coming out with three different phases. First thing is you have to define the value proposition, or what are the things that, as I said, the what component of your digital transformation, right? The second phase is your launch and the acceleration phase. Launch and acceleration phase is nothing but you identify the starting points, and you identify the quick wins, and you identify where the customers we can to engage with customers to understand what exactly their requirement is, what exactly their expectations are. Accordingly, you can you will have an opportunity to tweak your approach or the transformation journey according to the customer journey, right? And the third one is, once you create your foundation in place, obviously the scaling up opportunities, right? So the scaling up opportunity will open up a kind of the opportunities which you cannot even imagine, because it creates a kind of a global opportunity, right? So you don't have to worry about what the next technology is going to have an effect or impact on the business operations, because the business operations has been it's opened up for welcoming the new technologies within its operations, or your business operations would be in an adaptable situation to the new opportunities or new technologies that's going to impact as you move ahead, right? So we will look into all those aspects over here. So when you go into this first stage of defining value, right, which means the what phase of your digital transformation, right? One is your senior management has to get involved onto this, which means there has to be a buy-in, or you have to secure the support of the senior management. That means the senior management should get convinced that digital transformation is the way of, digitization is the way of life, and the transformation needs to carry out, needs to be there, and it has to start immediately. It's not that you have put in a place now and you will have a kind of 1 year 2 year target to start itself, because unless you start on the current trends, the trends will change, and your starting goals, starting phase also will keep changing. So if your starting phase or starting points keep changes, right, your goals will also change. So which means on the way you will not go, or you will not have clear-cut objectives to focus, or to have a kind of the results that you want to measure. It will not be there, right? So what you do is, the first point is you have to secure the senior management conviction onto this, and you have to buy in from the senior management on all kind of aspects, whether it's going to be the investments, or the business objectives, or the business operations transformation that needs to be done, right? So all these things has to be clearly defined to the senior management, and the senior management has to understand and say, let's kick off, right? And the second point on this defining value proposition is, you have to define the strategy. You have to define the strategy, and with a clear objective and goals, right? Obviously, you can't have an open strategy. You cannot simply say okay, you want to make your business digital, or you want to operate in a way which is being everywhere, whatever it is happening at the current trends, you want to make it into digitization. But then, if you don't have clear-cut objectives, right, you cannot do that. So which means you have to define very clear objectives, and those objectives and goals should be ambitious. It should not be unrealistic. You cannot set an unrealistic goal. You can be ambitious, but then the timelines and the goals and the metrics, everything has to be realistic. You cannot have an unrealistic goal saying that it's the moment you transform, you will get millions of customers onto place, or you will reduce your operating expenses by about 50 to 80%. You will have to have first measurements. You will have to have clear-cut goals. You can have a definition, some X percentage of savings or X percentage of improvement on your operational efficiency, or you can say, I'm sorry, or you can say the customer growth is going to be some X percentage. So what you can do is, you get clear targets or clear objectives or clear goals, that this is what we are going to achieve, right? Unless you have a goal, you will not be able to define your priorities very clearly. You will not be able to define your transformation journey very clearly, or you will not be able to carry out your transformation journey in a very effective way, right? So which means you need to have your very clear-cut, ambitious goals, and which need to be realistic goals, right? So once these things are in place, then you will have to get onto the financial part of it, which means secure the investment from the management, right? The investments and the budgets for all those activities, or for all those objectives, for all those deliverables, it has to be tied up along with the progress of the project. And you cannot say the budget has to be constrained, or in a way it has to be exorbitant. So budget has to be realistic, which has to be aligned with your objectives, which has to be aligned with your goals, which has to be aligned with your strategy, and entire components has to be aligned with your business strategy, because finally the business has to get benefits out of whatever the transformation that you go through on this, right? So on these aspects, so once you define what, right, Now you go ahead with why part of it. When you go into why part of it, which means why this transformation needs to be done, right? So when you say why this transformation needs to be done, you can split into multiple components, whether it can look at the back-end process efficiency, or you can look at the cost savings part of it, or you can look at revenue generation, or you look at giving a better customer experience or acquisition of customers, right? So the why part of it has to address multiple components, but those multiple components again based on each and every business, right? When you have a digital strategy put in place, the digital strategy focuses on the business strategy and aligns with the business strategy. So the why part of it has to be part of your business strategy components, and it has to align with the why components or why part of your transformation journey, right? And when you align both of these, right, so which means you will have a universal transformation journey to move ahead onto your digital transformation, right? When you start with that, you have to have a very clear digitization strategy, right? What it means is a clear-cut digitization strategy has to be business specific. There is nothing which one size fits all strategy for every business. For all businesses, you cannot have that, because the banks, when you work or when you are in business, everything remains the same kind of profit making business, right? But then the business approach differs. But when it comes to banking operations, every banks operate in a similar way, and if you look at the various aspects or the products the banks offer, it almost has similarities. To generate a uniqueness, that's where your digital transformation helps, right? So when you have to create a uniqueness, the digitalization strategy has to be unique to your business. So you cannot have a very generic strategy where it can be applied to every business, but then it can be applied to every functions of the same business, right? You need to have a kind of an uniqueness within the business digitization strategy for that business. And when you try to define the business strategy or the digitization strategy for your business, it's one way to look at your own business, you look at your own business strategy, define digitization strategy. But the other way is, which is very efficient way, is look at the industries which are outside your own industry. If you are in a financial services industry, look at how healthcare industry is working, or look at how the manufacturing industry is working, or look at how the retail industry is working. There are synergies which can be brought within the banking industry, right? So you have to go and explore what are those businesses are doing as part of their digital transformation or in general transformation, right? Bring those inputs into your industry, into the banking industry, and look at how those benefits can be derived into the banking business, right? So in a way, if you see of late, recently, after this digital journey has started or digital impact has come onto the businesses, they try to explore the business opportunities outside. One thing which digital transformation provides is it gives business opportunities. It gives the business opportunities across the industries, right? There is not going to be any clear-cut definition, or there are not going to be boundaries where the digitals have to be done, right? It opens up the avenues, which means you might have seen a particular bank which has been doing travel bookings, for their customers, right? So which means they have a collaborative approach within the banking domain, but wherever the banking domain has an influence onto the other industry, they try to find the synergies and then collaborate along with that. For example, the banks of the credit cards have got credit cards business, right? When they have to launch a credit card, it used to go with a kind of co-branded credit cards. There they found a synergy to bring in say for example airlines customers into their ambit, right? So if they have to bring airline customers, could be possible that they would be the customers of the same bank. They may not be the customers of the same bank, but then the moment you do the co-branding, you could get those customers which are not of the banks to bring within the bank, right? In the same way, when you see that when you extend this credit card business across the industries or away from the banking, it's away from your captive customers, you're trying to capture the customers out of the banking industry. It gives a lot of opportunity. It gives tremendous opportunity to bring in those customers to banking industry. The same way, you give services to your associates, or rather there is an association with the travel agents or airlines to give a co-branded cards, right? You give services to their airline customers on the banking side, and airline gives the services to the bank, right? It's a give and take kind of a solution. When you have these kind of associations or you have these kind of collaborations, which means you create a channel to give services to the customers, your own customers, by associating with your collaborations or your collaborative partners, right? Which means you book a ticket or you help your customers to book a ticket, right? So by doing that, obviously you will try to give a kind of freebies or benefits or discounts or offers or promotions when you have to come, when those customers come onto your channel to go and do the bookings of the tickets. And when you partner with the channels, with the portals for booking tickets, they also benefit, because they just not going to focus on their own captive customers, they are also focusing on the customers of the bank, which means a collaborative approach or collaborative opportunity is available for both the entities to do business. Now if you do this, now when you consider this business aspect, right, there is no borders between these two entities, between the bank and the travel agency, right? So bank is also booking the tickets on behalf of the travel agents for the customers, and the travel portal helps the customer to acquire their customers, which means they promote the banking products to their set of customers, a kind of joint effort, which means the digital gives a kind of an opportunity for these kind of collaborations, right? So when you look at those kind of opportunities, your transformation is, I would say, it's global. It can open up opportunities across the industries, and it creates new frontiers where all those changes are happening, and you create a kind of opportunities for customers also to benefit, which means you create a win-win situation. So your digital strategy has to look at in a way where it creates a win-win situation for the providers and as well as the customers. So which means for the banks as well as the banking customers, right? So the digital strategy has to be in a unique way that has to be focusing on the business strategy, aligns with the business strategy, but then brings value to the business, right? It's simply like, though it enables or facilitates the business functions, but it also facilitates and helps or benefits the customers also. The moment when you look at these kind of propositions that digital is going to provide to the business, you will have to look at the digital transformation kind of beyond what you can do. In a sense, like you have to have a vision, right? What needs to be achieved and why. And because it also has an impact on the customer behavior, right? When it has an impact on the customer behavior or customer experience, it has an impact on the business operations, because the customer experience or the customer behavior sets a kind of an expectations amongst the customers. To meet those customer expectations, your operations need to be redefined, right? Your business remains the same, but the business model has to change. You have to transform the business model, which means to respond to the customers, you have to be fast, you have to be quick, you have to change the operational aspects, or you have to change the way you do business, right? Unless you change that, you will not be able to meet your customers' expectations. Changing this means changing the business operations means you have to look at where all the changes are happening. You have to look at the core elements which are undergoing the changes. You have to look at what are the foundations that need to support this change, right? There are quite a few elements that you would require which need to support your digital transformation, or which need to support the change that has to carry on with the business or business operations, right? So these things that you have to keep looking at it, keep a look at it. In a sense, you have to keep your eyes and ears open to look at what needs to change, what needs to be done, and how it needs to be done, and why it needs to be done, right? If you look at, the statistics are, there are so many surveys are going through what kind of impacts the digital has onto the business, onto the business operations, onto the customers, onto the overall ecosystem of the banking sector or the financial services everywhere. Everyone could see there is going to be an impact, right? And when even the survey says there are 95% of the CEOs believe the digital economy will impact their industry, right? Which means almost everyone accepts the digital is going to have an impact on their industry or onto the banking operations or the banking industry. But very few who have actually executed, even for that matter, a small percentage of activities go ahead with the digital transformation, right? When you define the digital strategy, you have to identify the starting points, right? So let's look at the start of the journey where the digital transformation which needs to begin. As I said, you have to have a very clear-cut definition about the digital strategy. You have to define very clearly, and clear and coherent digital strategy has to be put in place, and this digital strategy has to focus on the customer experience or the customer journey with your business, right? And that strategy has to have a very clear-cut and ambitious and the realistic goals, right? And you have to have a kind of a value chain built along with that. If the value chain is not going to align with your strategy, the business strategy or the digital strategy, it's not going to create any kind of business benefits on both the sides, whether to the business or to the customers, right? So when you try to envisage how the entire value chain and business model might change, then you will have to identify the starting points, right? Because you know there is going to be change on the value chain, on the business model, then you will have to see what are the functions or the components is going to change, right? So then you identify which are the points where, which are the functional points where it needs to start with, right? So either you can start with the low hanging fruits, you start with some simple operations like to bring in a kind of visibility to the customers about all your backend operations, in a sense, like whatever that backend operations that need to be providing information to the customers, you can bring that as a starting point. But again, right, so when you look at the customers, your backend operations also need to be very strong, right? So you first evaluate all the components of your business functions, business units, and identify the starting points where it needs to be, the journey has to start, because every journey starts with the first step, right? So you have to start with your journey over there on defining the strategy, right? When you try and do the digital strategy definition, one thing you'll have to keep in mind is it's not the technology that's going to affect, right? Technology is common to everyone. There's not going to be any uniqueness about the technology. Technology per se is available, the same kind of technology is available to everyone in this world. Wherever you go, you can use the same Windows, you can use the same internet, you can use the same social media channels, everything is the same, right? But then the how part of it, or how part of your digital strategy is going to make a difference from the common technology or the generic component of the technology, because that how you use the technology to provide the solution, that's what makes the difference for your digital transformation, right? Strategy, not the technology, drives the digital transformation. And there's no one size fits all strategy in digital transformation. This, it has to be kept in mind while defining your digital strategy, right? And when you go ahead with the starting points, as I said, concentrate on the low hanging fruits. Once you concentrate on the low hanging fruits, run the pilots, run the POCs, right? And identify which are the benefits, or which are the benefits that is being available on both the sides, to the business as well as to the customers, and where all, if at all, if some mistakes are happening, so you might have to tweak your journey, or you might have to rework, or you go back and restart your transformation journey and do a kind of a test and learn approach to move ahead with your digital transformation journey on that front, right? So here what will happen is, when you try to identify the starting point, you identify in two different aspects. In a way, when I say two different aspects, one is which is in your control, the other one which is not in your control, right? All those internal business operations, business functions are within the control of the business. All those customer facing or customer engaging touch points are not in your control. Of course, they are within your control, but then you cannot control the customer behavior, right? The customer engagement, or customer behavioral pattern, customer experience, all those things are out of your control, right? You will have to look at two different aspects. One is within your control and one which is not in your control. Concentrate first on the components within your control, because there you can go ahead and do the changes, or you can take the decisions that need to be taken for creating those changes, for effecting those changes, where the business processes are involved, the way the business processes need to be defined. If it needs to be redefined, work on that. Concentrate on how various business functions can interact with each other, can integrate with each other, how various business functions need to be automated within those functions, and that automation needs to be flexible to integrate with other components. That components can be within the business or outside the business, or internal or external to the business entities or business operations, or a kind of B2B approach or a B2 it's mainly B2B approach onto this. So because that will also help you to collaborate with your business partners, right? So when you do this, the automation part of it, your back-end processes are within your control. So you automate entire business operations at the back-end level. Once you improve on the the back-end operations, obviously your performance efficiency improves, right? And the integration will help you to achieve whatever that objectives that you define onto your digital strategy at the customer facing level, right? When the customer facing level, you might look at various channels that you need to provide. One is, it could be any smart device. It could be through your through internet or through intranet, or for captive customers or for outside customers. So all these aspects are which are not in your control but will be integrated with the components that are in your control, will provide a kind of an integration opportunities to extend your business beyond your business operations. In a sense, it gives you tremendous opportunities outside your business to get more opportunities onto business expansion, or business growth, or customer expansion, or customer growth, or even your products in a way which you can go into the market, right? You don't have to define or launch a product which are very unique to your own captive customers. You can launch a product for your new customers. You can bring in new customers, because the customers, when you look at the customer journey or customer experience, customers are much more literate in a way, in a sense, like, they are very technically literate, right? So there are customers, you again have to define two different customers on this. One is the literate customers, and I won't call it as illiterate, non-literate customers. Literate customers, in a sense, like, they can use any technology to get the work done, right? Which means they are technically competent to use the business to use or to interact with the external entities. The external entities could be banks or any other service providers, right? So when you design a product, right, that has to take care of the customer journey or the customer experience. So the offerings that you give to your customers should be in such a way that customers should be able to do on his own without any help from outside, or even without depending on any outside help. He should be able to complete his interaction with the bank. The product definition, how the product needs to be placed, how the product needs to be defined or designed for the customer, and how the customer can interact with the product. So your digital transformation has to take care all these components, right? So all these components constitute your digital journey. Technology is just one component. That's the main reason I said the technology is available to everyone, but then the uniqueness or the USP that you need to define within the product is what makes the difference, or what makes you to succeed within your digital transformation, right? So how you design, which means you have to develop a design thinking within your team, within your organization, within your people, within your processes. All that needs to be defined in a way that everything is linked, everything is automated, everything talks to each other, which means a kind of a transparency at the back end has to be in place. If the transparency is very cohesive or very coherent, very clear, and obviously the customer will not feel any difficulty in interacting with the bank or with the product or to do business with the bank, right? So which means your internal processes, your internal functions need to be automated, and that internal automation needs to be very, very effective. It has to be transparent. It has to be collaborative within different functions within your business. And as a single component, it gives an output which interacts with the customers, or which enables the customer to interact with the businesses, or enables the customers to interact with the banks, right? So which means the product definition, it could be as I said, it could be a credit card, but then the utilization of credit card, either he can use through online transactions. When he does online transactions, it has to be very easy. You cannot make it so complex that he forgets where he started and where he ended up, right? In a way, the journey, the customer journey or customer experience has to be quite smooth when you define the product. Your product should be designed in such a way to capture all these customer journey, which means the product can be redesigned to capture more customers or to get the customer engagement in a much better way. You have to identify the customer journey to design your product. And when you design your product, if you involve the customer journey or customer experience, you can create a uniqueness within your product, right? So when you create a uniqueness within your product, obviously it is success for your business, your success for your revenue generation, is everything is it's going into in a different way altogether. Yeah, we have a few questions from the bankers with respect to this digital transformation discussions that we have been going through for some time now. The one question which is quite important, I would say, or otherwise a kind of inquisitive thing is, the question says, how can one set ambitious targets when many of the digital transformation journeys have not been all that successful, right? As I was mentioning about defining the digital strategies, here the digital strategy is very unique. It's not one size fits all for every business, right? That we have to keep in mind. And when you define a digital strategy, you have to define in alignment with the business strategy, because your business strategy, business approach will be completely different from the other entity or other bank, right? So your digital strategy should be unique. In a way, it has to align with your business operations, your business model, your holistic business approach, right? So when you try to say a kind of an ambitious digitalization strategy, right? So ambitious targets for many of the digital transformation journey, right? So a kind of, as I said, the what component and the why component you have to concentrate, right? What is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you want to envisage? A kind of a vision or visionary approach. You might say that you want to reduce your operational cost by some percentage, say for example some 30% or 40% or 50%, or you might even have a kind of set target saying that operational cost should reduce by 60% in the next 2 years, right? which means you start from today where it is a 0%, define your strategy to achieve to that 60%. When you define that the roadmap to achieve that 60% cost savings at the end of the second year, you need to have a kind of steps that to be defined, how it is going to be achieved that 60%, at what level you want to do, start with 0%, or you start with 5% now, or 10% within the first quarter, or 30% within the first year, or even 10% within the first year, and then take a leap to achieve that 60% at the end of the second year, right? So you have to have a measurable targets. So though you may say, like, how one can set ambitious targets, I think we can reframe that as how one can have measurable targets. The metrics may be ambitious. But should not be unrealistic. You cannot say 100% savings. Obviously, you need to have a kind of expenses, you need to have a kind of business back-end operations that need to be done to have a kind of a front-end interaction with your customers, with your business partners, or with your any kind of integrations which is beyond your own business boundaries. So which means you have to have a kind of a digitization or digital transformation strategy defined as per your business strategy, as per your business model, as per your business operations. So that strategy becomes very unique. So when a bank decides to follow a digitization strategy defined by someone else or some other bank, that's where the confusion comes, because their journey is completely different. Their starting point may be different. They might be well equipped, or they may not have been equipped at all. They might have been starting from scratch, or they might be starting from the beginning, or in the middle, or they might be starting with some other functions. It's not primary function, or it could be a secondary support function. So the same strategy will not be applicable to every bank. So if your bank wants to get into a transformation journey where you want to have ambitious targets, you have to look at holistically within your own bank, within your own business functions within the bank, and define the strategy accordingly, right? And then you define your targets. What are the targets? What is the strategy? And then what are the targets? How to achieve over there? Because the strategy, when you try and define, it is not the same as what the targets are, the execution plan that you have to define to achieve the targets. The strategy comes in between both. You will be having a plan, you will be having a target, right? So how that plan can be executed to achieve that target is where your strategy plays an important role, right? The first part is you have to have your own digital strategy defined for your own business, which would be unique to your own business. And obviously, it's the digital strategy is not common to everyone. It's a unique concept, and then you bring in the technology to implement all those objectives that you have defined. We have another question from a banker, which says, what are the difficulties in framing a firm digital strategy in light of the dynamics of the fintech sector? Okay, so this again, the difficulties in framing a digital strategy, right? That you have to consider your own dynamic. The dynamics within your own business. As I said in the earlier point, where the strategy is unique to your own business, the fintech sector has its own dynamics. The banks have got its own dynamics, right? And bank individually has its own dynamics. So you have to consider each and every component of it while defining your strategy, right? So initially you might feel a kind of confused state of mind to define the strategy. It need not be that way. So it can be very simple. You can start with very, very simple concepts, saying that you have to move you have to reduce number of branches from X number to Y number, right? Because you are moving your X number of customers from offline to online, or you are saying a kind of the operations or the customer transactions that need to be moved onto online. So you can define the metrics accordingly, and once you define the metrics, based on that you have your own strategy defined accordingly. And once that strategy is defined, it will address your dynamics within your own business or within the sector itself. The fintech, if you talk about as a sector, there are a lot of independent components which are going through, whether it is to do with your retail financing capabilities or retail financing business, or your lending operations, lending and mortgage operations, or even on the credit cards, or even on the customer management or the customer service component, where all these customers are trying to access their information or trying to access the bank to do their transactions. All that you can look at different aspects. The fintechs, they look at different dynamics at various level. One is at the operational level, another one is at the product level, the other one is at the customer level, or even inclusive a kind of collaborative effort, a kind of an analytics. You can run your built-in intelligence within the business, where you can bring in automated processes to take place, or you can do a kind of scheduled operational activities which can facilitate. So all these put together is where you will have to address the dynamics within your the business operations, right? The other question that has come up is from another banker is, what strategy have banks adopted for innovation in insourcing and outsourcing, right? So there are away from the digital transformation journey, banks are always on the lookout for facilitating their internal operations, either through on the outsourcing model or through insourcing method, right? It doesn't have to be only for digital transformation, but it could be a generic business approach itself can do with an insource and outsource options. But when you get into insourcing and outsourcing concepts for the bank, it helps a lot in your digital transformation journey, right? So in a sense, all non-critical operations which are generic, you can outsource it. A kind of like, you're generating your social media marketing, your mass mailing operations, or you are sending out the transaction details. You can use outsourced operations for that. You don't need to have entire technology within your entire business operations within your own control. There are certain things which are generic, you can always outsource that, and which are non-critical, right? And which are critical and which are within your own control, which you want to have within your own control to create uniqueness within the business, that has to be insourced. And obviously that you cannot create an uniqueness by outsourcing it, because unless otherwise you have a captive outsourcing opportunity or captive operations to do that. But that again becomes the captive operations becomes a kind of outsourced to operating outside the purview of the banking operations. So which is, you can't call it as generic outsourcing opportunity to have your cost saving or anything. It could be like to exploit the skill sets or exploit a kind of efficiency. You have a captive operations center for your business. So that again, you can call it as an insourcing. When it comes to outsourcing your opportunities, you You can do your social media or social media marketing or social channel interaction with your customers, or your generic statements to be sent out, or generic mails to be sent out, or your marketing promotions that need to be sent out to your customers or to engaging partners. All that can be outsourced, because that is not going to affect your business per se, because all those components which are within your control, which affects the compliance and the risks of the business, has to be insourced, and your strategy has to address separately for those insourcing components, and you needs to have a separate metrics to be defined over there. And for outsourcing components, you need to have a separate metrics defined. And obviously there has to be a synergy between insourcing and outsourcing to understand whether both are in line with your business strategy or the business operations. So here I can quote an interesting concept which I have in my learnings or in one of my interactions that I have had. Anyone who wants to start a restaurant business. So restaurant is where you serve food, right? So in your case, the bank, you provide the banking services. So now you keep that aside, right? So that's the default business that you do, serving food in your restaurant. Restaurant means the place for serving food. Keeping that aside, what are all the other things that you can do within that restaurant purview? You can do catering training, you can do catering classes, you can sell out the recipes, you can use as a banquet hall, you can use as a meeting point. I mean, you just go and draw whatever that you can do, nothing which has nothing to do with your main food business, right? So once you identify all those opportunities and you put up a frame over there saying that these are the things that you can do for within your restaurant business, now you plug in your food services. That's it. It's your restaurant serving food, or otherwise you can say your restaurant also serves food in addition to all these services. So think in those terms. The banks have to innovate in such a way. They also do banking. They also provide banking services to its customers. In addition to that, they also give additional services like consumer financing, or you can sell those products in association with or collaborating with consumer dealers or consumer manufacturers or online portals. You sell anything, because finally the customer has to make the payment from your bank, from the money which he has kept in your bank, and to making it to the third party. That's it. So innovative approaches there. So think in those terms, and then you can always have an opportunity to grow your business away from the banking operations, and still you do bank.